if you can get off to a good start, then it's going to help you to feel more confident going into the rest of the conversation. So nailing that first introduction is so important. And of course, if you can introduce yourself clearly and confidently, you'll make a great first impression of people. This is going to help you to build great relationships, to make friends, and be liked, which really deep down is what we all really want. Ideally, you're watching this video with your notebook handy so that you can take some notes as we go. You can listen to me talk about introducing yourself as much as you like, but if you don't start playing with the language and the ideas that I'm sharing today to make it useful and relevant for yourself, what's the point? So if you've shown up today and you're ready to participate in this lesson, let me know in the comments. I'm really excited to get started. And of course, if you can think of a friend or a colleague who needs to work on this skill too, share this lesson with them, make sure you subscribe, and let's get into it. So imagine hearing this question, tell us about yourself, and feeling cool, calm, and collected as you reply. That is exactly what we're working towards today. We want to not only just answer this question with ease, but we want to do it accurately as well. There are lots of different places and contexts where you might need to introduce yourself. Some of them are formal, some of them are really informal. So knowing your context and your audience is extremely important. I can't stress that enough. It's so important. And adjusting your introduction just slightly to those different situations is a really powerful skill to learn. Because it might be useful to talk about your education and your profession in some contexts, but really weird to bring that up at a party, right? Like that's a good way to bore someone to tears. So let's get started with your introduction today. And how do we start? We start really simply and casually with your name. I am Emma, or I'm Emma. Now, in most situations, it's much more natural to use the contraction I'm Emma. It sounds much more relaxed that way. You can also say my name is Emma or my name's Emma. Simple, right? You got this. Now, what if you have a preferred name or a nickname? It is always really good to let the person who you're addressing know right up front, right? And an informal way to do that is to say, my friends all call me, my name is Beatrice, but my friends all call me B. A slightly more formal way to do that is to say, my name is Ibiskai, but it's hard for some people to say it, so you can call me Ibis. This is a really great expression to note down if people find it really hard to say your name. Maybe it's a long name, maybe it's not a very common name in the place where you live. You kind of get sick of having to explain it again and again. So as long as you don't mind, then this is a really great way to introduce your name or a version of your name that you like to be called. The next piece of basic information to include is something about location. It could be to do with where you're living now or where you're from originally. And there's lots of different ways to elaborate on this type of information. So I'm going to give you a few different ways of doing it here, but it's up to you to pick and choose which version works best for your story. Okay, so experiment, get a little playful with some of these combinations. I'm from Australia. And again, I'm using that contracted form here because I am from Australia sounds just a little bit stiff, you know, so to sound more relaxed and more natural, say I'm from with your country and your city name, could be either. You could say I am and your nationality adjective. So I'm Australian, Turkish, Vietnamese, Brazilian. These are all examples of nationality adjectives. And these nationality adjectives are usually different to the country name, right? So you've got to be careful that you're using the right form of the word with each of these expressions. We don't say, I'm from Australian or I am Australia. Now, if you said, I'm from Melbourne, it's actually not super clear whether that's the place where you live now or where you're from originally. So if you're not from the place that you're in while you're making the introduction, then you could say, I come from a place. And we use this when there's a bit of distance between where you are now and wherever that place is. So it could be another city or another country. But if you want to be clearer, all you need to do is just choose some more specific verbs. You could say, I was born in, with the place name, I was born in Melbourne. I grew up in, or I was raised in, or even I spent my childhood in, and a place name. So this is talking about, when you were a child, where were you, what were you doing? It's an interesting way to bring up that part of your life. And they all express a really similar idea, so you can pick and choose how you use them. I was born in Australia and spent my childhood growing up in various cities along the East Coast. I'm originally from Melbourne, but now I'm based in Perth. So if you want to say how long you've been living in your current location, it is the perfect chance to use the present perfect. I've been living in Perth since 2016. I've lived in Perth for the past 4 years. Or I could also say, I moved to Perth a few years ago. There are just so many different ways to express this information. Honestly, I could keep going. And I'm sure that many of these structures are actually really familiar to you, but as you're preparing your introduction, really pay attention to the story that you're telling and take the time to make sure you're expressing your ideas accurately. And once you write your introduction, you are most welcome to add it down into the comments below. I'll take a look at as many as I can and make sure that they sound awesome. So, talking about your name, your location, these are the basics. And like I said earlier, if you can get this part right and you can just say it really naturally as soon as you get asked, then this is going to set you up really well for what comes next. And what comes next really does depend on the context. So I've got a few different options for you to consider here.
Hi, it's Esther Brule here, speech therapist and creator of Speak More Clearly.
If you are introducing yourself to a new neighbor, for example, you might choose to focus more on your family. But then if you're introducing yourself at a job interview, you might talk about job-related experience, obviously. And if you're introducing yourself to an English class, you might focus on your hobbies and your interests, things that will help the other people in your class connect with you and, reveal their shared interests. Now, you might want to talk about your family a little bit when you introduce yourself. And the amount of information that you share here is up to you, whatever you feel comfortable sharing. You want to be careful not to overshare, to bore someone with your entire family history, unless they ask for it because they're particularly interested. But if you're married, you would say, we've been married since, and a time or a date. I've been married to my husband since August last year, for example. Now, if you're not married, but you still want to mention the length of your relationship, you can say, we've been together for, and a time period. Okay? We've been together in a relationship context that tells the length of your relationship. I always find it kind of tricky to talk about my relationship with my partner in English because we don't actually have many words to describe it. My partner, Shah, and I have been together for 11 years now. We're engaged, but we've been engaged for about 6 or 7 years now. So we have no plans to get married. So he's not ever going to be my husband. I can introduce him as my fiance, but then I always get asked, when's the wedding? What are your plans? And of course, we have none, so that conversation gets really boring. And after 11 years of being together, the word boyfriend is really flippant and not particularly useful. So I usually just call him my partner. But in our situation, we are business partners too. And so in that context, things can also get really confusing. So if you want to talk about the family that you live with, then you could say something like, we're a family of 5. I live here with my family, we're a family of 5. But if you're talking about the family that you grew up in, then you need to clarify, you need to say, I grew up in a family of 5. Now, that information is pretty general. It could be a single parent and 4 kids, or it could be 2 parents and 3 kids. It's pretty loose. If you have children that you want to talk about, say, I have a 7-year-old son, I'm a single parent, I'm a mother of twins, and it's really nice to add a little bit of commentary around family members just to make it a bit more interesting. You could say, I'm a single mum, I've got twin girls, they're 5 years old, and they've just started school this year, so it's been pretty exciting for us. And the reason why adding just a little bit of this type of information is so great is because it gives hints and clues to the person that you're talking to help them continue the conversation in a really positive way. You know, they could ask, what school are they going to? Or maybe comment and say, you know, now that they're at school, you must feel like you've got so much time to yourself again. Something like that. When you're talking about your brothers and sisters, of course, you can say, I've got 3 sisters, but it's a bit of a mouthful to say, I've got 2 brothers and 3 sisters, right? So instead, we use the word siblings to talk about brothers and sisters. It's quite general. 2 brothers and a sister would equal 3 siblings. I have 3 siblings. Now, when you say that, it doesn't include you. You're talking about the other children in your family. If you want to include you, say, I am one of 4 siblings. And if you've got no siblings, then you're an only child. I'm an only child. You might also want to talk about your extended family. Now, this is a really, really great expression to use when you're talking about aunties, uncles, grandparents, cousins. By saying extended family, you're including all of them. You don't have to go into detail about who and how many and all of that kind of thing. I live in Perth, but most of my extended family lives in Melbourne. But saying extended family means you don't need to list out everyone, right? So you might want to talk about interests or hobbies, things that you do outside of work. We'll talk about work in a second, so don't jump ahead. But to talk about hobbies, you might say, I enjoy, with a noun, I enjoy baking. Don't say, I enjoy to bake, right? Enjoy as a verb is always followed by a noun, and this is a gerund, okay? You can always say, I like or I love with a noun. So I love playing football, for example. But the verbs like and love, they can be followed by a gerund or the verb infinitive, and the meaning stays the same. So you can also say, I love to play football. The meaning is exactly the same. You could say, I'm really into something. And this is a really great, a really natural way of talking about the things that you like. I'm really into jazz music. Now, having a couple of interesting things to include about yourself in your introduction is so useful in lots of different contexts. If you've ever been part of an English class or some other meeting where you've got to meet people for the first time, then the teacher will often suggest, let's go around the room and you'll need to introduce yourself. Tell us your name, where you're from, and something interesting about yourself. It's always good to have something ready to answer this question. Maybe you've got a special talent or an interesting hobby or a unique achievement that you can share in this situation. And a fun way of introducing this is to say, one thing you may not know about me is, I love to have dinner parties and I'll spend whole days preparing and organizing themed events for my friends. So I'm curious to hear your ideas about this. See if you can finish the rest of this sentence down in the comments below. One thing you may not know about me is... Of course, you might want to talk about your job, right? So when you're talking about your job, when you're talking about your job in your introduction, usually you're just sharing what you do and maybe who you work for. And again, there are lots of different ways to talk about your work, the company, etc. But what we really want to do today is make sure you're doing it accurately. Prepositions and articles are really challenging to get right in this section. It might be a little tricky. So I hope that you are definitely taking notes as we go and that you're applying the information that I'm sharing now to your situation. Of course, you could say I am or an and the job position. Your job position is a countable noun. So this means you need to include an article. I'm a graphic designer, I'm an engineer. Just make sure you're not saying I'm engineer. That's wrong, okay? And if there's only one of your role within your company, then you definitely can use the definite article, the, okay? I talk more about definite and indefinite articles up here in this video. But you could say, I am the CEO of a tech company, or I am the owner of a florist. You can also talk really generally about the field or the industry that you work in by using in. I work in and the industry. I work in marketing, I work in construction, I work in design. Now, if you want to say which company employs you, then you can use either at or for with the company name. So you might say, I work at Vogue, or I work at an architecture firm, or I work for the government. Do you work for yourself? Are you your own boss? Well, in this case, you could say, I work for myself, I'm self-employed, or I run my own business. And here's a little hint. If you're unsure about how to talk about your job in your industry as it relates to your industry, then listen to others who are from your industry introduce themselves. Lots of TED Talks or lots of industry relevant videos around where you can listen to people introduce themselves in that context and learn from them. You may want to talk about education or your qualifications in your introduction, and this is most common in a professional context, maybe in an interview or in a work context. And again, there's lots of different ways that you can do this. You could say, I have a degree with an industry like architecture or design. I have a degree in engineering. You can also say, I'm a qualified with your job title. I'm a qualified engineer. I'm a qualified architect. Now, notice that I'm using the job title and not the industry there, okay? Sounds similar to saying I'm an architect, but the difference is that the adjective qualified clarifies your status. Add that if it feels important to clarify given the context. Maybe in an interview it's relevant, but there's no need to tell someone at a party that you're a qualified engineer, all right? In that context, you would just say, I'm an engineer. If you're studying at university now, then some of these expressions are going to be really useful. I'm studying the industry. I'm studying environmental science, or it could also be the name of your degree as well. I'm studying applied science. I'm completing a PhD in whatever the research area is. Maybe it's public health. I'm completing a PhD in public health. I'm in my final year of something degree. I'm in my final year of an economics degree. I'm nearing the end of my studies is another way of expressing that. And maybe you're undertaking some less formal training. And that's totally cool as well. You might want to say, I'm currently taking an online course to upskill, or I'm doing an extra course to improve my skills in that area, something like that. So by now, you should have a whole list of dot point ideas that we can start to build your introduction around. For me, we could say I'm Australian, I live in Perth, I'm originally from Melbourne. interests, hobbies. I love swimming in the ocean every morning. I'm a qualified English teacher. I teach on YouTube. I'm interested in businesses and startups. Great. Okay, have you got your list ready too? If not, just hit pause now, pause the video, write out your list, and then continue on. Because now we need to find a way to pull all those ideas together, okay? We want to make sure that your sentences flow together and that they sound really natural as you speak or you say your introduction. And to do that, we need to combine these ideas into some longer sentences and add a few grammatical words to help. Hi, I'm Emma. I was born in Melbourne and I grew up in various cities along the east coast of Australia. I've been living in Perth on the west coast of Australia with my partner for the past 4 years, and we absolutely love it, especially early morning ocean swims. I'm a qualified English teacher and I teach students online, and I also have an interest in business and startups as well. One thing you may not know about me is that I teach millions of students each month on my YouTube channel. Now, obviously, you know that about me, but most people I meet don't, so it's always an interesting conversation starter. This is the type of script that I want you to write now, all right? And once you've got it written down, make sure you share it down in the comments below so that I can give you some feedback and some corrections to help you improve it if you need it. The sooner you get your introduction written and shared down below, the better, the more likely I'll be to see it and be able to respond. I definitely love to see you each commenting and giving support and constructive feedback to each other down in the comments below. It's so helpful and it helps everyone to keep improving together. Now, once you have your script prepared and reviewed, save it on your phone, make a recording of it, whatever it takes to just have it with you regularly, okay? And you need to practice out loud, all right, on a daily basis. Don't just read it, practice how it sounds, how it comes out of your mouth. This is going to help you to speak more naturally, feel more comfortable as you are saying the words and the sounds and connecting those things together. It's really, really important that you practice out loud daily until you nail this. But even before then, you know, start practicing it in real English situations. It's probably not going to be perfect at first, but you will get better every time you put it into that context and you put yourself into that situation, or you hear that question, tell me about yourself. And you might freeze at first, but it's going to change over time. You know, you've prepared for this, you've got your answers ready, you don't need to panic. And that is the kind of headspace and feeling that you need to step into a conversation with. I hope this lesson was really practical, really useful for you. And if you're ready to keep building your conversation skills and learn how to keep your conversation going after you've introduced yourself, we'll move along to this lesson right here where we'll practice some small talk conversation starters together. I'll see you in there.
Okay, yeah, that's all about how to introduce yourself based from the video.
Hi, from Speak More Clearly.
Sorry. All right. Now, what do you think of the video? I need to ask you about what you think about the video. Right? I will start from Salsa. Salsa. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you think about the video? What do you think?
Ini boleh dijawab pakai bahasa Indo, kami.
Ya, latihan, Mbak. Anda tahu pertanyaan saya? Bagaimana menurut Anda videonya itu? Mbak
Tahu.
Salsa bisa menangkap video itu? Maksudnya?
Bisa.
Okay, good. That's very good. Gimana komentar Anda?
Gimana ya? Lengkap itu kayak tentang tentang perkenalannya dan
Ya.
dapat pahami juga step by stepnya gimana, apa yang mau disampaikan kepada yang lain tentang diri sendiri.
Okay. Yeah. So basically you understand. Anda paham ya, Mbak ya? Paham ya, Mbak Salsa ya?
Iya, Mbak.
Oke, baguslah. Nah, what should you do next? Ya, nah sekarang bagaimana seharusnya ini? Yang kemarin saya minta kan, saya jelaskan itu kan ini Mbak ya, Mas semuanya. Ini kata kuncinya ini, ya kan? Practice. Nah ini yang practice. Kita mempunyai banyak kegiatan. Nah sekarang tadi Anda itu praktisnya itu 2 ini, ya kan? Anda tadi sedang praktek mendengarkan, ya kan, mendengarkan YouTube tadi kan. Nah, terus sebetulnya prakteknya juga ini speaking hari ini. Kita akan praktekkan bagaimana Anda memperkenalkan diri. Nah, bagaimana Anda memperkenalkan diri itu sudah kita ini ya kan tadi kita dengarkan banyak sekali hal yang bisa disampaikan ketika memperkenalkan diri. Melihat konteksnya. Nah, ini misalnya Anda di kelas, tadi kan ada perkenalan di pesta, di kelas, di tetangga, menyebutkan keluarga dan sebagainya, Anda paham ya. Jadi sekali lagi ini bahasa Inggris itu ini, terus kemudian listening and speaking. Nanti reading and writing ya, kita beri teks. Nah, Anda membuat summary, nah itu untuk praktek ini. Sekarang saya beri teksnya dalam bentuk tadi ya, yang harus Anda lihat, Anda watching, listening, understanding, and then practicing how to speak like itu ya. Ya maksudnya intinya tidak persis seperti itu ya, tidak ya, karena kita bukan native speaker ya. Ya punya ini masing-masing, no problem. Nah jadi intinya dipraktekkan dengan cara meniru beberapa dari video tadi ya. Meniru beberapa kan, harapannya tadi mencatat apa yang pertama kan tadi suruh mencatat ya, pertama apa, oh tentang nama dulu, tentang lokasi, alamat, daerah asal, nah gitu kan, tentang bahwa Anda itu di apa mahasiswa atau apa, nah gitu ya, tentang hobi dan sebagainya. Betulnya tidak terlalu sulit ya. Baik Mbak Salsa sudah membuat catatan apa yang akan disampaikan di perkenalan Mbak Salsa? Karena, ayo Mbak Salsa.
Sudah sih, Mem, tapi masih ada tambah dikit-dikit gitu.
Ya, ya sudah dicatat. Mencatat boleh ya, dibaca dulu boleh. Membuat note persiapan dulu boleh ya. Materinya tadi, Mbak, ya. Materinya tadi itu sudah sangat banyak, ada 23 menit tadi. Nah, kita nanti diulang, di post ini, oh tadi what you don't know about me is, nah itu kalau Anda would like to apa ya, kalau Anda akan menyampaikan hal yang mungkin teman-teman belum tahu ya. Nah itu what you don't know about me so far is that I'm actually I actually love sewing. Ya, I sew all my own dresses. Nah itu ini apa yang belum Anda ketahui tentang saya adalah bahwa saya itu penjahit. Saya menjahit seluruh baju saya sendiri. Nah itu ya. Do you ya gitu ya. Do you sew your own dresses? Nah itu seperti itu. Nah baik Mbak Salsa. Ini saya ajak ya Mbak Nila. Hello.
Ya, halo Ibu.
Yeah, Mbak Nila, what do you think about the video on the YouTube?
I think it might be helpful to enhance our knowledge of proper self-introduction.
Oh, very good. You speak English already, answer in English, and express your English. This is really what we want students to do. Nah, jadi Mbak Nila sudah pintar ini bahasa Inggrisnya. I think the video is very useful to enhance our knowledge about bla 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 tadi ya. Ya, sudah pintar nih speakingnya ya. Tidak semua harus sama. Ya, I can understand all of you. Saya bisa ya paham. Tidak semua sama, masing-masing mempunyai tingkatan beda-beda, tapi tidak masalah ya. Tidak usah feel inferior yang bagi yang belum bisa ya. No need to be inferior to others ya. Jadi tidak usah Anda merasa inferior, yang sudah bisa juga tidak usah merasa superior ya. Jadi which is all just the same ya. We are all the same. Artinya we are in the process of learning. Jadi learning itu, belajar itu kan terus menerus ya. Even myself ya. Jadi bahkan saya sendiri juga terus belajar ya, karena juga bukan bahasa kita, masih terus adding, menambah kosakata-kosakata baru gitu. Ya, thank you so much Nila ya, Mbak Nila, bagus sudah. Ini, oh ya. Yes, what can I do for you? Siapa ini? Any comments? Tidak ada. Baik, bentar ya. Ini saya ini dulu ya Mbak. Bentar, saya membuat catatan dulu. Buat catatan tentang ini ya. Pokoknya semua mempersiapkan prakteknya ya. Seharusnya sudah harus dipraktekkan ya. Betulnya. Tapi karena belum ya. Mana tadi? Bentar, Mbak. Ya, semua pokoknya menyiapkan. Kalau bisa sudah ada persiapannya. Kemarin kan sudah saya ini kan ya. File saya error ini. Mana tadi ya? Ya. Saya harus share. Ini apa ya? Bukan ya, ini bukan ini ya. Tadi yang sudah saya minta itu nggak selesai ya. Nggak selesai dan Mbak Nila ya tadi ya. Oke. Nah sekarang berikutnya Mas ini. Mas Rizal. Mana Mas Rizal?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what do you think about the video concerning introducing yourself?
I think the video is very complete
Okay.
and quite understand.
Quite? What did you say? Mas, yeah, could you please repeat once more, Mas Rizal?
I think the video is very complete and I quite understand.
Okay, you could understand the video, all the contents of the video. Okay, good, Mas Rizal. Tadi nggak selesai ya. Nggak selesai. Okay, next. bahasa Inggris apa ini? Result, solution. Kemudian mas lagi ya. Tegar?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. What do you think about the video that you already watched?
I think, in my opinion, this video is very clear in showing how to introduce yourself. And I'm so very understand in my video, but step by step, to introduce yourself.
Okay, good. Very good, Mas Tegar. Right. Next one. Ini ya. Siapa ya? Tegar sudah, kemudian Yunita. Mbak Yunita. Mbak Yunita
Yes, ma'am.
ada? Yeah, alright. Yunita. Okay, could you please give your comments on the video?
I think the video is very helpful. It's pretty clear and easy to understand.
All right. Good. It's easy to understand. Very good. Next lagi, Mbak ini ya. Mbak Kila.
Yes, ma'am.
Mbak Kila, yeah, what do you think of the video, Mbak Kila?
After seeing the video, I thought it was worthwhile to increase our knowledge of proper and clear self-introduction. Besides, it really helped me with the video.
Okay, Mbak Kila, Mbak. All right, thank you. Next, we invite Damar. Yeah, Damar.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, what do you think about the video, Damar? Oh, Damar is all right.
In my opinion, this video is a simple self-introduction video, but very educational, easy to understand and sense. Thank you.
Yeah, very good, Damar. Next, Widi. Hello, Widi.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Widi. What do you think about the video, Widi?
I think the video is very good and helpful. And from the video, we learn about how we introduce ourselves well.
Introduce. Okay. Yeah. All right. So most of you, I think, have already been able to speak English, to express yourself, but now to explain and to give comment about what you have watched. Now I would like to check how you practice introducing yourself, ya. Oke, sekarang kita latihan ya, latihan memperkenalkan diri. Latihan memperkenalkan diri sendiri masing-masing. Yang belum ini, yang tadi Mas Damar sudah diminta amalin juga. Baik, ini biar merata maksud saya itu. Ini langsung memperkenalkan diri dengan mengambil poin-poin di tadi ya, di YouTube tadi yang sudah dijelaskan. Tidak harus semuanya itu, diambil beberapa saja yang lazimnya disebutkan di dalam perkenalan. Oke, Mas Ridho ya. Halo Ridho.
Oke, ma'am.
Right, Ridho. Okay,
ma'am.
are you ready with your self-introduction?
Yes.
Yes,
Already.
good. Okay, go.
Miss Rara and my friends, my name is Muhammad Ridho Ali Putra. But if it's too long for you to say, you can call me Ridho. I was born and raised in Karanganyar. But when I was 3 years old, I moved to Kalimantan for a year. I'm from a family of 5, and I'm one of 3 siblings with an elder sister and younger brother. About my hobbies, I love climbing mountain, and I've climbed 3 mountains in Central Java. They are Mount Merbabu, Sumbing, and Sindoro. Then I'm interested in digital art too. but for now I'm just a beginner. One thing you may not one thing you may not know about me is I have an acrophobia or fear of heights. But in other side, I love climbing mountains, so it's sound weird because they are contrast. That's it. Little bit about myself. Thank you.
Okay, excellent, Ridho. Yeah, right now let's have a look at ini ya. Bentar ya. Ini ya, saya garis bawahi tadi untuk pembelajaran kita bersama ya. Tadi Mas Ridho kan memperkenalkan diri, sudah bagus, sudah disiapkan, dan ada referensinya YouTube tadi. Ini saya, ini kita catat, kita buat catatan ya, ini kuliah kedua. Nah, saya mohon dengan praktek itu nanti kita mencatat hal yang perlu diperbaiki. Ya. Yang mencatat bukan yang praktek itu ya, tapi semuanya. Baik, ini kuliah kedua, 11, masih introduction ya. Tadi ada you are talking about climb. Ya, ini kita belajar vocab ya untuk semuanya, vocab dan pronunciation. Ya, karena kemarin sudah saya, ini kan belum ya. Kita ada pronunciation, ada speaking, ada bunyi pronunciation belum? Nah, ini sudah, ini kemarin kita ini kan, nah kita ini ya, ini kan yang saya share itu ya. Minggu lalu kita sudah bicara vocab kan, vocab untuk speaking, spoken, oral, ini hari ini untuk praktek oral. Ada pronunciation, nah Anda harus kalau tidak yakin harus konsultasi kepada siapa? Kemarin kepada ya, dictionary. Nah, itu ya, kepada dictionary. Jangan guess, karena nanti kalau Anda guess itu apa toh? Guess itu menebak. Ya. Jangan menebak. Please consult. Do consult. Do itu artinya please, ya, menyangatkan. Harus konsultasi, harus cek. Supaya tidak terjadi Anda sudah di kelas bahasa Inggris masih membaca ini sebagai target. Nah, nanti kalau target, nah itu ditanya tuh belajar bahasa Inggrisnya di mana gitu. Wah, itu yang ini berada. Nah, rasa yang kena ya. Nah, ini manfaat dari checking your dictionary. Satu yang disampaikan oleh Mas Ridho, kembali ke sini ya. Itu climb ya, to climb ya dengan B memang ya, climb. Bukan dengan M ini, bukan dengan climb, tapi climb. Tetapi ini ketika dibaca dengan ing, nah ini bunyinya tidak mengikuti ini ya. Coba saya share ya. Nah, saya share. Ini didengarkan ya bunyinya ya.
Climbing.
Ya.
Climbing.
Jadi itu hilang ini ya. Ininya hilang ya. Saya share ini pronunciation-nya ya. Nah ini ya. Ini pronunciation-nya ya.
Climbing. Climbing.
Jadi climbing ya. Bukan climbing. Nah gitu. Nah, sekarang sudah tahu kan? Ya. Sekarang sudah tahu. Jadi membacanya itu ini climb, but this is not climbing. Ini tapi ini climbing, ya climbing. Ya, climb. We were climbing the mountain. The mountain. Itu ya. Jadi untuk ucapan-ucapan nanti Anda bisa konsultasi online dictionary ini langsung ya. Oke. Baik. Terima kasih banyak ya Mas. Nah, Ridho tadi saya catat ini beberapa saja yang menonjol gitu ya. Ridho ya. Ini tanda bahwa Anda sudah mendapat giliran ya, yang coklat ini. yang coklat. Yang hijau ini tanda plus, tanda ada additional points ya gitu. Terus yang kemarin sudah 2 kali ini Mas Damar. Kemarin diminta, saya minta. Baik, sekarang yang berikutnya Rehan. Hello Rehan.
Yes, ma'am.
Ya, Rehan coba praktekkan.
Okay.
Speaking tetapi sudah dipersiapkan. Oke, Rehan.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Raihan, but you can call me Raihan. I was born on October 2022 in 2002. I used to live in Kendari with my parents, but now I live in Solo with my auntie to continue my study. I have 2 brothers while I'm the youngest among them. My hobby is playing game. My favorite game is Dota 2. It's like an online game that make me don't want to stop playing that game. I'm a friendly and enthusiastic person. Honest and flexible to work at any time. I can work for a long time without taking a break. Thanks. I think it's quite an introduction for me. Thank you very much for all the attention. Hopefully we can know more deeply.
All right, thank you so much. Well, in general, it's okay. There's no special notes for Rehan. So, yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, I mean, you prepared it already. You use some words like siblings, auntie, and so on. Okay, next. Okay. Muti, hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Muti. Could you please introduce yourself?
Okay. Morning, everyone. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Rana Muti Ramadanti. You can call me Muti. I was born in Jakarta on November 19, 2002, and I grew up also in Jakarta. Yeah, I am now 19 years old. I am the second child of 2 siblings. Honestly, I am not the type of person who can easily talk or give a speech in front of many people like this, but I'm trying to handle and overcome my anxiety. I love to eat, but it's really difficult for me to gain weight. So I'm just naturally thin. I also like to swim because I swim a lot since I was little. To do it once a week till it become a hobby. That's all. Thank
All right, thank you. One note. I heard this expression. Yeah. Okay. Mbak Muti, hello Muti.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it your sentence? The last one. What did you say? The last sentence. What sentence did you say in the final part? Blah, 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 blah. I couldn't catch this. Blah, 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 once a week. Hello? Hello, Muti. Muti?
Yes, ma'am.
Ya, is it your sentence? Ini kalimat Anda ya tadi ya, Mbak ya. Ini dilihat di screen. Saya share screen ya kan? Nah, lihat di screen.
Maaf,
ini.
Ma'am, suaranya putus-putus.
Halo, cek. Sudah?
Oke.
Ini kalimat Anda, Mbak. Di screen, di layar.
Bukan, ma'am.
Apa yang terakhir kalimat Anda tadi? Kalimat Anda tadi yang terakhir apa, Mbak Muti?
Oh, yang kalimat terakhir ya.
Ini kalimat Anda?
Ya.
Sebelum ini apa ini?
I also like to swim because I swim a lot since I was little. terus karena itu I used to do in once a week till it become a hobby.
Oke, ini saya tadi. Baik, ini saya cuplik saja ya, sedikit saja ini yang terakhir. Baik. Ada komentar mengenai kalimat ini? Ada komentar? Tidak ada? Nah, ini harus diperhatikan semuanya. Sekarang problemnya kalau di sini tadi problem pronunciation ya. Problem pronunciation ya. Sekarang ini problemnya adalah grammar ya. Jadi bahasa Inggris itu memang banyak elemennya, kan? Nah, ini elemen grammar. Ya, supaya bahasa Inggrisnya lebih baik ya, sempurna sekali ya mungkin, ya, tapi mendekati lah ya, jadi baik. Ini memang ada unsur pronunciation untuk berbicara, ada pronunciation, ada apa ini grammar, ada choice of word. Nah, ini untuk grammar ini ada yang berkomentar ini. Kita problemnya sekarang grammar. Belum ada? Ya, ini semuanya ya diperhatikan ya. Nanti saya tanya ulang ya. Ini yang sering sekali dilakukan mahasiswa, kesalahan kecil tetapi tidak diperhatikan ya. Padahal itu sangat dasar, sangat basic ya, sangat mendasar berkaitan dengan grammar yang mendasar. Ya, terutama kalau di dalam tulisan itu akan terlihat sekali. Kalau orang ngomong begitu tidak sekilas sudah oke lah ya kalau ngomong, karena kan ngomong apalagi cepat gitu ya. Yang penting orang paham idenya ya, ngomong itu kan begitu, yang penting paham ya. Untuk communication ini interaction yang penting paham, tapi ketika Anda belajar bahasa perlu diperbaiki menjadi bahasa yang baik dan benar begitu ya. Kalau masalah dipahami orang, saya kira dengan seperti ini sudah sangat dipahami ya, cuman kalau kaitannya dengan belajar ya diperbaiki. Ini yang harus diperbaiki yang mana? Satu saja, ada yang tahu? Di sini ya. Di sini Mbak, Mas. Ini harus dilihat grammarnya itu ya. Oke ya. Paham ya Mbak Cynthia? Halo Mbak Cynthia.
Paham, Bu.
Apa yang harus diperbaiki Mbak Cynthia?
Harusnya kan becomes, bukan become, pakai S.
Iya.
Bu mau tanya, Bu.
Ya,
Kan
boleh.
itu kan once a week, until itu boleh kan, Bu?
Boleh.
Oke.
Atau until itu sama, Mbak.
Terima kasih, Bu.
Boleh, Mbak. L-nya itu satu saja. Kalau until itu L-nya satu ya. Artinya sama. Dengan till it becomes sama. Baik, bagus. Terima kasih. Berikutnya ya. Ini saya hitung Mbak Cynthia sudah dapat giliran karena sudah saya tunjuk ya. Saya tunjuk untuk menjawab. Kemudian yang berikutnya Dika ya. Halo Dika.
Yes, ma'am.
Ya, Dika, silakan dipraktekkan how to introduce yourself. Dika.
Okay. Hi everyone. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Shafrian Andika, and you can call me Dika. I come from Solo, and since childhood until now, I still live in Solo. And now I'm studying at UNS. Maybe next month, I will move there. One thing you may not know about me, I am not a person who like to relate to other people. I'm really into all the things that can be done without the help of others, such as playing games and watching movies. I hope you can know me better than before. Thank you.
Oke, ya, good. Saya tidak ada catatan ini karena selain cepat juga sepertinya oke. Ya. Ini mungkin ya kata yang dipilih oleh Dika itu ada satu ini. Rely. Ya. Rely diikuti dengan apa Mas Dika tadi?
I'm really into, Miss.
Oh, I'm really into it. Oh, ini really. Okay. I'm really. Oke. Yang dicontohkan di YouTube ya. I'm really into. Ya hobinya. Ya, I like itu very much gitu ya. I like it very much. I like apa ya ini games ya misalnya. I like games very much. I'm really into games. Gitu. Oh, okay. Ya, terus ya betul. Kemudian berikutnya ini ya. Siapa ini? Satna ya. Halo Satna.
Yes, ma'am.
Ya, Satna. Oke, coba Anda praktek ya. Silakan.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I hope you are doing well. This time, I want to introduce myself. I'm Nicola Satna Natavia, and you guys can call me Satna. I was born in Surakarta, Central Java, and I'm 18 years old. I don't have any siblings, and I'm an only child. The things that I usually do when I have spare time are listening to music. Sometimes it's pop, jazz, or hip hop. And then watching television, I like Mata Najwa, and I really love jogging. So if you guys have some songs or podcasts or films that are recommended, just let me know. It's nice if we share a common interest. I think that's all from me. Thank you so much.
Hey, great. Ya, sudah bagus ini how to pronounce the words ya itu sudah bagus-bagus semua ya karena kemarin sudah mendapat kelas bahasa Inggris ya. Oke, good. Thank you. Semuanya sudah bagus ini. Tinggal terus improve saja. Baik, tadi sebentar. Tadi itu Satna ya. Berikutnya Naufal. Halo Naufal. Hello Naufal.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Naufal. Could you please introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name Muhammad Novel Wicaksono. I was born in Bekasi on June 30, 2003. I live in Bogor. I don't have brother and sister. I am the only child. I graduated from Senior High School Gunung Putri to Kabupaten Bogor. I have one hobby. I love fishing in my spare time. Okay, that's my introduction. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you, Mas Naufal. Mas Naufal, saya dengar tadi seperti ini. Coba dilihat di layar. My name Muhammad siapa tadi?
Novel Wicaksono, ma'am.
Muhammad Naufal. Ini betul ini kalimat Anda? My name Muhammad Naufal Wicaksono. Betul, Mas Naufal?
Betul, ma'am.
Oke. Wicaksono ya. Nah, sekarang dilihat semuanya ya. Nah, ini saya catat karena ini masalah grammar ini, Mas Naufal. Sebelum saya betulkan, Anda menyadari, Anda betulkan sendiri, Mas Naufal?
Belum tahu, ma'am.
Belum ya? Bagus.
Iya.
Oke, paham. Kita betulkan ya. Kita lihat ke sini, Mas ya. Ini, Mas, ini my name, ini kan subjek ya. Subjek ya. Oke. Nah, terus Muhammad Naufal ini objeknya. Ya, objek lah. Gitu. Nah, predikatnya itu belum ada, Mas, kalau untuk kalimat. Sehingga kita kalau dalam bahasa, belajar bahasa itu ada membuat kalimat itu minimal ada subjek dan predikat. Ya. Nah, ini subjek dan objeknya ada. Tetapi predikatnya tidak ada. Nah, itu belum betul berarti ya, Mas ya. Mas Naufal, terutama Mas Naufal. Yang lain tadi saya lihat sudah berapa sudah baik. Nah, ini belum ada predikat namanya, Mas. SPU. Nah, predikatnya di sini itu harus ditambah apa ya, Mas Naufal? Ditambah is ya, Mas. Itu, Mas. Oke ya. Sudah tahu Mas Novel?
Yes, ma'am.
Makanya di dalam video tadi tidak dikatakan begini, Mas. Tidak dikatakan begini kan? Tidak mungkin videonya tadi I Muhammad Novel Wicaksono kan? Karena I-nya itu subjeknya, nah mesti ada predikatnya. I'm tadi atau I, M. Karena M-nya ini bisa disingkat ya. Disingkat menjadi I'm. Itu ya. Jadi ini predikatnya itu, Mas. Ya. Jadi harus ada my name Musa, begitu my name Sinta, itu tidak boleh ya. Salah, jelas salah dalam bahasa. Walaupun orang paham, Mas. My name Santi, itu orang memahami sekali, paham, sudah mengerti, secara komunikasi sangat mengerti. Tapi secara kaidah bahasa masih salah ya, karena kita belajar bahasa jadi harus yang bahasa yang baik dan benar ya. Jadi my name is Santi, my name is semua harus, my name itu harus diikuti dengan is. Ketika Anda memperkenalkan diri. My name, nah my name is, ini bisa disingkat juga, Mas. Tadi ya, my name's, kalau dalam omongan ya, dalam spoken, dalam berbicara itu bisa my name's Novel. My name is Novel. Ya, berarti artinya dalam hal berbicara itu bisa disingkat my name's Novel. Itu ya, tapi harus ada gitu ya, unsur ininya. Ini artinya itu unsur predikat. Itu ya Mas Novel ya.
Yes, ma'am.
Nah itu dicatat betul. Kenapa? Supaya besok tidak diulang lagi kesalahan atau kekurangan yang sama. Nah biasanya kalau belajar dari kesalahan itu akan ingat terus. Wah itu dulu dikoreksi. Nah itu ingat. Ya. Beda kalau yang tidak dari kesalahan. Iya. Kadang lupa, kadang ingat. Tapi kalau salah itu biasanya terus ingat. Baik, Mas Novel, terus kemudian sekarang Rizky. Nah, Rizky, halo.
Yes, ma'am.
Ya, Rizky, tolong diperkenalkan Anda.
Yes. Let me introduce myself. I Rizky Wayu Saputra, and my nickname is Rizky. I was born in Jakarta, 13 September 2003. I enjoy playing football. I now live in Karanganyar. I live with my parents and young brother and sister. That's all about me. Thank you for your attention.
Oke, ya. Mas Rizky tadi mengatakan begini, I Rizky begitu?
I am.
Oke. Ya, harus ada M-nya ya.
Yes.
I am. I am biasanya disingkat. Apa itu? Dipisah juga ada yang menyebutnya disingkat I am Rizky atau I am Rizky atau I'm ya. I'm Rizky. I'm-nya seperti gandeng ya, gitu ya, I'm Rizky atau I am Rizky atau I am. Jadi there are many ways to say gitu ya. Bagus, oke, tidak ada yang tercatat lainnya. Kemudian berikutnya Tasya, hello, Tasya, hello Tasya.
I'm here, ma'am.
Iya, oke Tasya silahkan praktekkan.
Okay. Hi everyone, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Tasya Caroline Haryanto and you can call me Tasya. I'm originally from Purworejo but now I'm based in Solo. I have been living in Solo since 2009. I have one sibling. She is 4 years younger than me. I like listening to music and watching movies. Now I'm a student at 11 Maret University. I studying historiology. I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah. Baik ya, nggak ada yang saya catat. Coba ini saya coba pergi ke ini ke OCW. Ada yang belum check in ya. Novel belum. Nova belum check in, coba segera check in ya. Terus Iqbal, ada yang Iqbal. Halo Iqbal.
Ada, Ma'am.
Nah, check in ya, OCW,
Ya, Ma'am. Ya.
Naufal juga ya. Naufal, Dodi juga, halo Dodi. Dodi. Halo Dodi. Dodi nggak ada
Yes,
ya?
Ma'am.
Oke, Dodi ya. Oke. Check in di OCW, kemudian coba nih, Aji ini namanya siapa ya? Aji, adakah Aji? Kamar Jati ini siapa ini? Siapa ya Mas?
Sudah, Ma'am. Sudah present.
Damar, oke Damar. Damar, sama Damar. Sudah ya, coba saya cek lagi. Cek lagi, dan 4 orang tadi yang masih alpha. Masih satu. Masih satu, Dodi. Halo Dodi.
Iya, Ma'am, ini lagi absen, saya lupa.
Oke, belum ya, memang belum.
Sorry, Ma'am.
Masih, ya, saya tidak lupa ya. Tinggal Dodi saja. Oke, sudah beres semua. Bagus, baik. Kita lanjutkan ke berikutnya untuk praktek. Mbak Ima. Ima.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, sebentar. Ima saya cancel dulu sebentar. Yang belum. Tiara aja, Tiara. Halo, Tiara.
Yes, ma'am.
Iya, Tiara praktekkan coba.
Hey, everyone. Let me tell you about myself. My name is Tiara Audra Stefani. You can call me Tiara. I was born in Sukoharjo on August 31, 2003. I grew up and live in Sukoharjo with my grandparents. I have many hobbies, but I really like skateboarding. And the funny thing is, I'm very weak at skateboarding, so I just watch it in videos made by my idol. One of my idol skater is Kyonosuke Yamashita. He is from Japan. That's all about me. Thank you for attention.
Oke, terima kasih. Banyak, Mbak Tiara. Baik, saya garis bawahi 2 ini dari Mbak Tiara ya. Mungkin Mbak Tiara juga perlu ini, yang lain juga. Tadi ekspresinya ini, hari tanggal lahirnya 31 Agustus ya Mbak Tiara ya.
Yes, ma'am.
Mbak Tiara. Baik, ini hati-hati menyampaikannya in English, karena kalau 31 Agustus tidak disebut 31 ya Mbak Tiara ya.
31st, ma'am.
Oke, iya 31st. Tadi 31st ya?
Ya, tadi 31. Aku bilang 31st tapi.
Iya. Nah itu jangan lupa ya, 31st ya. Jangan 31. Untuk tanggal lahir itu disebut ini namanya ordinal number ya. Ordinal number. Ordinal number itu kata satunya itu kan first. Ordinal number itu mulai dari first, second, third itu ya. Kalau cardinal number itu mulainya 1, 2, 3. Nah, itu cardinal. Ya, untuk tanggal yang digunakan yang ini ya. Jadi sudah tahu tadi 31st, jangan 31. Kalau tanggal 22 ya 22nd ya. Or the 22nd of May. Atau kalau ada unsur 3-nya 13, 3 gitu ya. Itu ada third-nya. 13 ya, kalau 13 tidak ini. Kalau 3, nah ini itu diingat-ingat. Itu satu ya dari Mbak Nara, dan yang lainnya juga bisa mempelajari itu. Yang satunya lagi adalah ini. Mbak Tiara tadi apa? Sampaikan one of my idol.
One of my idol skaters.
My idol. My idol apa Mbak? Skaters.
Skaters.
Ini ya?
Yes, ma'am.
One of, okay. Terus belakangnya apa?
Is Kyonosuke Yamashita.
Alright, sudah betul kalau ini ya, sudah betul. Jadi intinya apa catatannya? Setiap kali Anda sebutkan one of, ya, lalu rumusnya kata bendanya harus ada jamaknya, harus jamak. Kalau tadi idola saya, kan tidak harus idola khusus. Anda hanya menyebut idola secara umum. Nah, kalau seperti ini, betul atau salah? Sebentar. Saya undang Robai. Mana Robai, Mas? Halo. Robai.
Hello, ma'am.
Iya, Robai. Ini bagaimana menurut Anda, Robai? Yang ini terakhir saya highlight ini. Menurut Anda bagaimana itu? Betul atau salah?
One of my idol is. Nggak usah pakai one of. Langsung idol.
Anda tadi mendengarkan enggak rumusnya apa? Ayo ini tadi rumusnya apa? Rumusnya apa? Yuk, Mas.
SPOK.
Aduh, Anda pasti hilang kemana tadi? Bukan, ini baru saja tadi loh Mas Robai. Ketika ada apa, Anda harus ingat apa gitu. Yang saya kuning-kuning, Mas. Apa ayo Mas Robai? Nah, ini Mas Robai tidak mengikuti. Nah, biasanya ya pokoknya dengan merungoknya terus biasanya mendengarkan tapi sudah hilang orangnya di memasang tapi sudah.
Nggak dengerin cuma tadi ada mobil lewat.
Oh. Ya, oke lah. Ini sekarang didengarkan ya. Setiap kali ada one of, Mas ya. Salah satu one of itu pasti harus diikuti kata benda jamak ya. Salah satu buku saya, Anda katakan apa? One of salah satu. Bahasa Inggrisnya apa? Salah satu buku saya itu bahasa Inggrisnya apa, Mas Robai?
One of my books.
Iya, dia harus bentuk jamak, Mas ya. One of my books is borrowed by my friend, ya gitu ya. Dan ini juga one of my, sehingga ini salah. Harus one of my idols, ya. Salah satu idola saya itu siapa? Ya, jadi idol secara umum ya. Kalau ini idol skaters, ya di sini itu hal-hal yang mungkin yang ada yang belum tahu, ya barangkali ya ini dicatat. Kalau tadi Mbak sudah ngerti ya Mbak Tiara, jadi sudah oke. Baik, berikutnya adalah masih satu lagi ya, ini hampir habis waktunya. Satu lagi saja. Apa ya? Nurinda. Hello. Nurinda. Ya, Nurinda. Okay. Would you please practice your introduction?
Hello, everyone. My name is Nurinda. My full name is Nurinda Kansapikia Devi, but you can call me Nuri, Linda, or Nurinda. I'm from Karanganyar, and now I live in Karanganyar. I live with my family. There are 4 of us in my family. I'm 19 years old. I have a little sister. Now she is 6 years old. You can see our age difference is quite far, which is 13 years. I love dancing so much. You can say I cannot live without dancing in my life. I started dance lesson since 4 years old. So dance is a part of my life until forever. Besides dancing, I like swimming and watching film and Korean drama. My favorite film is Harry Potter. That's one of the best movies of all the time. Okay, I think that's all about me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. But unfortunately, the microphone is something like does not work quite well, so I cannot actually catch every word ya. Jadi mohon maaf tadi mikrofonnya agak ini ya kurang jelas, saya tidak menangkap, tapi oke lah sudah baik lancar gitu ya. Nah, detailnya tadi tidak tertangkap, tapi mudah-mudahan sudah oke. Nah, saya kira itu ya untuk introduction. Yang lainnya belum, nanti menunggu giliran. Kalau itu ada ya hari ini ya itu.
Yes, ma'am.
Itu ada, Tari ada?
Ada, ma'am.
Tomo mengikuti, Tomo.
Mengikuti, ma'am.
Iqbal.
Hadir, ma'am, mengikuti.
Azarin. Azarin ikut enggak ini? Azarin hari ini aktif ikut enggak? Azarin? Azarin? Enggak ada ya. Nisrina?
Present, ma'am.
Nisrina, Raffi?
Yes, ma'am.
Hana?
Yes, ma'am.
Oke, Hana.
Yes, ma'am.
Hadila?
Yes, ma'am.
Reni?
Yes, ma'am.
Reni?
Hadir, ma'am.
Ima?
Yes, ma'am.
Salma?
Hadir, ma'am.
Satria? Dina?
Hadir, ma'am.
Tira?
Ada, ma'am.
Nur?
Hadir.
Ya?
Hadir, ma'am.
Ana?
Yes, ma'am.
Dodi masih ikut ya?
Yes, ma'am.
Ya, baik. Ini saya kembali ke Azarin. Oh, ada Azarin. Azarin ini namanya di sini tuh Azarin apa namanya di Nabila Azarin tuh ada itu hilang orangnya.
Mohon maaf, Ibu.
Oke, di mana?
Sepertinya Azarin sedang gangguan sinyal karena dari tadi memang dia sempat keluar masuk.
Oke, ya udah ini jadi satu ya.
Ya, baik. Terima kasih.
Ya, sama-sama. Baik, saya memang sering cek ya. Jadi karena ada mahasiswa yang kalau semester 2 ini biasanya masih rajin ya, masih bagus. Tapi kalau sudah semester atas itu biasanya hilang ya, pasang aja Zoom tapi orangnya entah kemana gitu ya. Nah, mohon tidak seperti itu ya. Jadi menjadi
maaf, ma'am, tadi baru ada pesanan. Soalnya saya juga ada toko di rumah.
Oh, bagus ini sambil jualan ya. Aduh. Pusing. Mbak Azarin tuh kalau suruh menjelaskan itu nanti bisa atau enggak, Mbak? Mbak Azarin?
Yes, ma'am.
Ya, bisa menjelaskan ini yang saya highlight kuning-kuning ini atau enggak?
Itu salah satu dari
Itu apa
idolnya
tadi?
Tiara.
Rumusnya apa tadi? Rumus apa yang saya sampaikan tadi? Coba. Rumus apa, Mbak, tadi? Nah, tidak bisa karena tidak mengikuti. Nah, baik, jadi saya harap nanti kalau ke depan mohon ya Anda saya kira bagus berjualan buat startup dan sebagainya. Tapi pada saatnya kuliah dulu ya. Nanti setelah kuliah
Mau izin menjawab, ma'am?
Iya, tadi Anda pas ini mendengarkan atau tidak? Enggak apa-apa,
Tadi
Mbak,
mendengarkan, ma'am.
Oke.
Baru aja banget, Pak, ma'am.
Oke, no problem ya, sudah tidak masalah. Ini karena waktunya sudah habis. Tidak masalah yang untuk sekarang, untuk ke depan nanti ya semuanya saja. Kalau saya santai saja, nggak usah. Ya, you don't need to worry about Ania. Misalnya saya nggak mungkin marah, saya nggak pernah marah buat mahasiswa saya, nggak suka juga. Ya, nggak. Saya hanya memberitahu ya. Kalau orang Jawa bilang itu ngandani aja ya, ngandani, bukan memarahi, bukan untuk menjadi lebih baik saja. Jadi silakan, saya suka ini anak-anak kita, maaf ini minta waktu sebentar. Anak mahasiswa kita minta untuk aktif ikut program kreativitas mahasiswa ya, dan salah satunya adalah kewirausahaan. Bagus itu ya. Boleh berwirausaha, saya sangat support, tapi karena Anda merangkap fungsi ya, Anda itu multitasking. Jadi tas yang pertama adalah belajar, nah jam-jamnya saja digunakan yang optimal. Terus kemudian nanti tas yang lain untuk doing business, it's okay ya. Nah, asal jangan ganggu jam belajarnya itu. Jadi doing bisnisnya nanti setelah kuliah silakan ya. Asal tugas-tugas yang sebenarnya juga dikerjakan. Nah, itu hati-hati ya, hati-hati karena setelah agak semester atas itu sudah terlena dengan mencari uang dan begitu indahnya uang ya biasanya terus kuliahnya terus ini ketinggalan takutnya itu ya. Tapi sebetulnya bagus kalau multitasking itu Anda bisa manage your time ya. Jadi so it depends on your time management ya. Itu yang penting, itu mengelola waktu. Yang penting kalau bisa mengelola waktu tidak masalah. Iya, jadi himbauan saya nanti kalau pas bahasa Inggris minggu depan silakan stay tune dulu ya. Nanti begitu ini sudah cabut ya. Jam 1 cabut, langsung makan siang, langsung bisnis ya gitu. Enggak masalah. Ada yang jualan soto juga, ada yang ini mahasiswa kemarin yang ikut saya. It's okay, no problem ya. Malah itu bagus, saya support, membantu ibunya dan sebagainya karena because ibunya harus membayar kuliah juga dari jualan soto, dari apa. I can really understand ya. I'm sort of an understanding person, I think. Jadi don't worry ya, boleh silahkan. Tapi pas ini di dulu ya. Usahakan ini dulu. Itu baik, thank you so much ya. Nanti minggu depan masih ada beberapa yang praktek. Saya kira biar saya tidak yang ngomong menjelaskan terus, tapi mahasiswa praktek. Dan saya mengomentari ketika ada hal-hal yang perlu dikomentari dan untuk improving yourself ya, untuk improve your English gitu ya, untuk memberi perhatian. Oh ini loh sudah bagus bahasa Inggrisnya dan menggunakan I'm really into it, okay, I like it very much. Nah sudah bagus semua in terms of pronunciation and so on. I think yeah, most of you have been doing very well gitu ya. Nah jadi tuh saya senang style video YouTube ditirukan ya, ditirukan. Ada banyak contoh di situ. Seperti native speaker juga sudah bagus-bagus ya. Actionnya juga sudah bagus. Baik ya, thank you so much. Ini saya stop share. Stay safe and healthy and see you next week ya. Saya stop share. Sebentar ya. Terima kasih banyak. Ya. Bye-bye.